We're nearing the end of this Frontline campaign, and we're still inviting new monthly partners to help us reach our goal of 150 Frontline partners. The need for biblical clarity has never been greater. Frontline partners help keep Denison Forum's resources free and equip believers to discern today's news through Scripture with confidence and peace. This is the final opportunity to stand with us in this moment. Your monthly gift today can make a lasting difference for believers seeking truth in a confusing world. So, visit supportdf.org to give your first monthly gift. That's support, the letter D, the letter F.org, or click the link in the show notes. Thank you for standing on the front line of biblical clarity. Thank you for joining us for Denison Forum's Daily Article Podcast. Today is Thursday, March the 5th, 2026, and today's Daily Article is authored by our co-founder, Dr. Jim Denison. I'm Chris Elkins, narrator. Last night, the Pentagon released the last two names of the 6 soldiers killed in a Kuwait attack a day after the U.S. and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury. The other 4 Americans had earlier been identified. A military official said of the soldiers, quote, "We honor our fallen heroes who serve fearlessly and selflessly in defense of our nation. Their sacrifice and the sacrifices of their families will never be forgotten," end quote. If Iran has its way, they will only be the first of many American deaths to come. As the New York Times reports, quote, "The Islamic Republic of Iran's first priority is to survive. To do that, its leaders will want to drive up the cost of the war for President Trump in terms of American casualties, energy costs, and inflation, to try to persuade him to declare victory and go home," end quote. The reason the Iranian regime wants to survive this war at all costs is not just personal, as selfish as it was for them to massacre thousands of civilians who protested against them. Their larger agenda is ideological. Until we understand it, we will be unequipped to win this war in ways that will matter long after it's over. For an expanded explanation of this, please see my books, The War in Israel and Radical Islam, What We Need to Know. A link to them are in today's podcast episode notes. Around 85% of Muslims are Sunnis. Around 15% are Shiites. The latter, though, are the majority in Iran, Iraq, Azerbaijan, and Bahrain. Those sizable populations also live in Lebanon, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Kuwait. We can think of the two groups somewhat like Catholic and Protestant denominations, with historic and significant differences, but still part of the larger faith. Their divergence goes back to the death of the Prophet Muhammad in AD 632. Sunnis, that name comes from sunnah, meaning habit or usual practice, believe that the caliphs, or leaders, who followed Muhammad were his proper successors. Shiites, translated partisans or party of Ali, disagree, claiming that Muhammad's son-in-law, Ali, the 4th caliph, was the rightful heir. Approximately 80% of Shiites are Twelvers. They believe that the 12th Imam, the Shiites' supreme spiritual leader, Abu al-Qasim Muhammad, was hidden by God in AD 872 and then transported to a transcendent realm in AD 934. This event is called the occultation. In their theology, this 12th Imam is still alive and waiting to reappear at the end of history as the Mahdi, meaning the guided one, a kind of Muslim Messiah. Many Shiites voice and write prayers to him daily. Many Twelvers also believe that a time of great chaos will precede the coming of the Mahdi. According to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, who are the military that dominates Iran's politics and society, Israel must be destroyed before the Mahdi will reappear. This is why the possibility of Iran obtaining nuclear weapons is an existential threat to Israel and the West. This also explains why negotiations to prevent Iran from permanently acquiring such weapons have never succeeded. We should add that for many jihadists, dying in a jihad, meaning holy war, is their only certain guarantee of a place in paradise. Now that senior clerics in Iran have declared this conflict to be a jihad, this element should not be overlooked. This ideology explains why, following the Islamic Revolution of 1979, Iran has been the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. It has supported proxies such as Hamas and Hezbollah in their atrocities against Israel and repeatedly incited violence against the West. Their purpose is not geographical. Iran does not seek to conquer the land of Israel in the way that Putin seeks to conquer Ukraine and Hitler tried to conquer Europe. Rather, it is ideological. They believe that their theological worldview is the only proper version of Islam and want to export it across the Muslim world. And as we have seen, their even higher purpose is to prepare for the arrival of the Mahdi, who will then dominate the world for Islam. The Iranian regime believes that it exists in the service of these agendas and that it is serving Allah in doing so. Accordingly, Israel and the U.S. are encouraging a regime change by which the Iranian people revolt against their leaders and take control of their country. However, what Iran needs most is a spiritual regime change. Its population has become dramatically more secularized in recent years. For example, only 15% agree that the hijab should be mandatory in public. As the Christian population in Iran grows exponentially, this is a crucial time for the gospel in this historic country. The ancient land of Persia, as Iran was called prior to 1935, is mentioned some 30 times in the Bible. For example, the Persian king Cyrus liberated the Jews from their Babylonian captivity, enabled them to return to their homeland as recorded in 2 Chronicles 36, verses 22 and 23, and helped them rebuild their temple, cited in Ezra 6, verses 3 through 5. Many historians believe that Magi, referenced in Matthew 2, verses 1 through 12, who worshiped the infant Christ, were Persian as well. Christians can therefore stand with this ancient people by praying for a transforming spiritual awakening to sweep their land. The more Iranians and their leaders turn to Christ, the more they will seek peaceful relations with other nations, referencing Hebrews 12, verse 14, and the more they will help to advance such transformation across the world to the glory of God. There is enormous urgency in our spiritual response to this spiritual conflict, not just for the sake of those for whom we intercede, but for ourselves as well. In his famous sermon, Learning in Wartime, C.S. Lewis, himself a veteran of World War I, observed, "War makes death real to us, and that would have been regarded as one of its blessings by most of the great Christians of the past. They thought it good for us to be always aware of our mortality. I'm inclined to think that they were right." End quote. Brother James Coster of the Society of St. John the Evangelist in Boston therefore notes, "If we don't believe that the end is near, then it doesn't matter how we live. After all, whatever messes we have made, we can clean them up tomorrow or whatever, as the case may be. But if the end is coming, if it is near, then how we live and the mess we've made in our own lives and in the lives of others needs to be cleaned up, not whenever or tomorrow or even later today, but right now." End quote. Do you have some cleanup to do today? We're grateful for our podcast listeners. If you find the Daily Article podcast helps you better understand today's news and cultural issues and then respond biblically, please rate and review the Daily Article podcast on the platform from which you subscribe. That helps people find and follow the Daily Article podcast.